Welcome to the Orange Hammer Podcast. My name is Corbett Storick. I've been a licensed general contractor for 8+ years, specializing in new construction, renovation, furniture building. I'm the son of an architect and an interior designer, and I've been surrounded in this industry since birth, watching all aspects from concept, design, build, punch list, and of course, all the problems that come up in between. In my time in Durham, North Carolina, I've noticed a significant gap in knowledge between homeowners who need work and the people who do the work. On this podcast, I hope to break down the process of homeownership from the perspective of both the homeowner and the contractor in an effort to help raise the knowledge of homeowners about their homes and the construction/renovation process. I hope you enjoy. If you're enjoying the Orange Hammer Podcast, or if you have a topic that you want covered, or have recently done a project, please contact the Orange Hammer Podcast. The Orange Hammer Podcast is on Instagram and Facebook. Please like and subscribe, share on whatever platform you're enjoying your podcast on. Also, check out our YouTube channel, The Orange Hammer. The Orange Hammer Podcast is proud to be brought to you by CRS Contracting LLC for all your construction and handyman needs, new buildings to renovations, furniture building, EV charger install, or even a TV mounted. You can call me, Corbett Storick. It'd be my pleasure to help you. You can find me on Instagram at CRS Contracting. WSDG, the Walter Storick Design Group, specialists in architectural and acoustical consulting. Check out WSDG.com. And Taylor Bragg, for all your artistic needs in all mediums. You can find her on Instagram at brag_about_art. That's brag, BRGG, with 2 G's. She's the fantastic artist behind the Orange Hammer logo, and she did my fantastic table painting of my podcasting table. The Orange Hammer Podcast is proud to be brought to you by Stacy Sloan with Keller Williams Elite Realty, proudly serving the Durham and Triangle area for 25 years. Call Stacy at 919-972-1180. The Orange Hammer Podcast is proud to be brought to you by Rachel Z with Rachel Z Real Estate Team Realty. From the Triangle to the Triad, call Rachel Z at 919-323-6068. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Orange Hammer Podcast. Today, we've got the studio dog, Willie Bear, and a guest today, Yannick Favre. Did I say it right?
Yeah, you
okay.
said it right.
I'm not good at the French accent. I apologize. This is pretty awesome for me. I got to be honest. Not a lot of people hear an episode and then find me on Facebook and go, hey, man, I love the episode and I want to come on. And I mean, to say that I'm honored would be like quite an understatement. So thank you, first of all.
Yeah, no problem. This is lucky for me, I guess, because I knew the guy you interviewed before. So
hey, man, the connection, the network just grows and grows and grows. Yeah. I met Tom at networking events, and we just, run into each other at different ones all the time. And we've kind of blossomed into just like buds who catch up over coffee once a month. Yep. And it's kind of awesome. And Tom's a good dude. Yeah. Shout out Tommy B. Is Burkhart?
Yep. Burkhart.
Yeah. Yep. I always I always worry I'm messing up the pronunciation. But Tom Burkhart, we got a great episode where he's a financial advisor, but due to compliance issues in that industry, he was like, I'm not allowed to talk about that because I have to get like the exact questions approved by a compliance officer. It could take 6 months and we can't veer from those questions. And I was like, I'm not interested in that. He was like, I'm not interested in that. So I was like, why do you want to come on then? He was like, I want to come on and talk about like health and wellness and mindfulness. And he had a rough time in his life and he like wrote a book on mindfulness and he was like, that's what I want to talk about. And I was like, dude, I love it. I don't know how we tie it into construction and homeownership. I don't care, but let's do it. And that's what we did. And it struck a chord, obviously, in you. Yep. And I listened to it as it released once again a little while ago. And I was just like, man, that was a fun episode. Like it was a good time. He has quite the story of tragedy, but quite the like inspiring way to triumph it, because Granted, not everybody has to do the tragic things he did so quickly, so rapidly, but almost everything he went through is going to happen to everybody else at a certain point. And using his story as inspiration, as a great roadmap to try to navigate some of those like life hardships.
Yeah, inspiration. I think Tom is a good friend and very inspiring one.
Yeah,
for sure.
You guys go way back. We were talking about before we recorded.
Yeah. He used to live in my house. Yeah.
And what part of the world was that? Is that in North Carolina?
Yeah, in Cary. Yeah,
in Cary.
My current house. Yeah.
So you're from France originally.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. The mountains on like the eastern side of France, like Switzerland-ish. Up in the mountains there.
Nice.
It kind of looks like the Appalachian Mountain of the U.S. here. It's the similar kind of mountains.
I was beyond fortunate to, as a kid, go with my parents on many trips to Switzerland and France, for that matter, and do some skiing in the Alps. And it just like, to say we have skiing in America is a joke. Like, you go ski the Alps and it's like, oh, this is skiing. We're doing this is snow, that's ice. Like, I'm from upstate New York, and we're like, Winter Mountain or Hunter Mountain, Windham Mountain. Those are like the famous mountains in like the Catskills, and like the slopes are steep, and don't get me wrong, they're real mountains, but it's like you're skiing on ice. You're not skiing on like fresh, snowy powder. It's like it's a joke. It's such a joke. Although I guess Colorado, that's actual real skiing. Yeah. That's on the same level, I would say. Like, that's fresh powder. Yeah. That's legit mountains, and like that's world class. Yeah. So you can make it as short or as long. I'm sure it's got to be an interesting story, but France, the beautiful mountains of France to Cary, North Carolina, there's got to be some steps.
Beautiful,
interesting.
Cary, North Carolina.
Beautiful Cary. Well, okay, fine. There's got to be some interesting steps on how we get there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I grew up on a dairy cow operation ran by my grandparents, and then I went to college in Lyon, which is the second largest city in France. And when I finished school, I was able to do an internship for a big German company that was working on biotech, plant and stuff of that nature. So I went into the biotech world.
What did you go to school for?
Agronomy, so the science behind agriculture.
Agronomy.
Yeah,
I'm saying that correctly?
Yeah, agronomy, yeah.
And in France, is school free?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and lodging is pretty much free depending on your income of your parents and stuff. You get help. So I did college for free and lodging for free for a couple of years.
Amazing.
Yeah. It's a good school too, and then I started working right out of school. So I was 20 years old and working in the biotech world, which actually, to be more precise, I was creating genetically modified soybeans. That was my job.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's a process called tissue culture. So it's in the laboratory, and you work in those petri dishes, like you can see on the internet. Like, it's all in vitro. So it's very complicated stuff that you do in the laboratory to create a new soybean plant.
Yeah, I know the term in vitro from like in vitro fertilization with like women who have trouble naturally getting pregnant. They use that process, and it's like it's quite an insanely scientific achievement to get either a donor egg or whatever it is, and then put it together and then put it inside of the person. Yeah. It's kind of incredible.
Yeah, so this is easier because plants are actually very, very easy to propagate in vitro.
Oh, okay. They're easier than the human.
Yeah, for sure. And what happened is that we were doing those soybeans, and the market in France for GMOs is a big no-no. They don't like GMOs at all. So the company sent me to the US with the technology.
Okay, and GMO, again, I know the term, but what's it stand for?
Genetically modified organism.
Okay, so that seems to be like, if you're trying to rock like, I'm an all organic kind of person, then you're not eating things with GMOs.
If you live in the US, you eat GMOs pretty much on a daily basis, I would say.
I mean, if you eat like the standard American diet, the SAD,
corn, soybean,
then like
all these
everything is processed.
Yeah.
But if you're
if you're careful and
if you're like me
local,
or like Tom or like my nutritionist buddy / trainer, where we're like really hunting in the grocery store for only organic stuff, is that only organic stuff still GMO?
No.
Okay.
No.
So this is very interesting because I honestly, I didn't even know what you did before this conversation. As somebody who's really working on this product and seeing the actual process, do you feel comfortable eating stuff, the GMO stuff, or is it just your job? Or do you also just like don't care because you know it's everywhere?
I'm fine eating it, period.
Yeah.
Yeah, knowing how it's made and where it comes from and what's the purpose of it. Basically it's a minor change in the genome that creates this genetically modified organism. So it's just a couple of genes, and it doesn't make a huge difference as the plant itself. You couldn't tell which one is which by just looking at them. And they're basically the same plant, except for what we were working on is resistance to herbicide. So the plant was able to take on herbicide without dying.
What's herbicide? It sounds like something bad.
It's what you spray on your weeds to kill them.
Right.
A herbicide, yeah.
Yeah, well, that shit's terrible for you.
Yeah, well, what happens is that no matter what we do in the U.S., there's corn and soybean on acres and acres, and the farmers, they spray shit tons of other stuff. But with the ones that are resistant to herbicide, they can just spray the field once. It kills all the weeds, and the soybean survives. Okay, so that makes the system much more efficient and less pesticides being sprayed overall, because they don't have to control all those things. They just do one pass, and then the soybean survives, the corn survive, and then you can harvest clean grain. But that's just one example. There's insect resistance, so you don't have to spray pesticide. The plant is itself resistant to insects or diseases. Those are the big threes usually.
So you basically are creating just a stronger version, in terms of like resisting the elements.
It's very specific traits. We call those traits the genes. So it's very specific. It's going to be 1, 2, or 3 traits that we introduce in the genome, and then the plant becomes this very stronger seed to sell to the farmers and things like that. So,
and it's all good until they like rise up and start walking on their own and then take us over. And
we can actually make them glow in the dark. I don't know if
you don't say shit like that. That's where we get like we're too close to like Terminator movies when you're like, yeah, we just make it glow in the dark. It can't move, or can it? Wink, wink. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, so what do you think then is the like insane uproar of everybody who's very against GMOs?
I understand the issue is that GMOs belong to a system that is bad in itself for the environment, probably, like the huge monoculture, I would say. I'm not going to say the system is bad. I'm going to say the monoculture, where you grow the same thing on large acreage, and then you ship that across the world, and it's not like what you want at the farmer's market. You're a small local farmer, and you think about the good food and all that stuff.
It's not like
it supports a different system.
Yeah, it's not like the normal, natural way the ecosystem was supposed to go, where like some things grow there, and they don't grow in the other place, and you then like every couple of years it might even just stop growing, and then something else wants to grow there because the soil wants that used soil, or you do nothing for a year and the soil just kind of heals. Like that's the normal, like natural, well, depending on who you talk to. I personally agree with it, that's like the normal way the planet was supposed to like operate. And we're just like, no. I want fresh blueberries year round in this country, in first world culture. And so we figured out how to do it, which is, don't get me wrong, I'm one of the dudes who's eating blueberries in the middle of the winter. I get it, but you're right. It's definitely not like a good thing environmentally, for sure. And definitely, I don't know, however many years ago you have to go back, but like herbicide and pesticide spray didn't exist however many hundreds of years ago, when we were just like growing a small batch of natural crops, and it just like you probably just planted another plant that the bugs liked to eat that wasn't the food plant or something like that. and it was just a more natural ecosystem.
I know, and the story goes that because we've been spraying those herbicides in the field for so long, there's resistance in the weeds now. And so it's actually my current job, because I'll go through the story, because I've been through many jobs in my life, but my current job, we try to work on those resistant weeds, because now we have to face the fact that we created super weeds that are eating Roundup for breakfast. And so we have to find other ways to control them. And the company I work for, we work on bio compounds, biomolecules, not like pesticides. So they're naturally produced. They regulate genes and stuff like that. So it's rocket science, but it's
all
natural.
This sounds very scientific. It's I just see like lab coats and petri dishes and like little like clicker spongy things,
pipets,
like just stuff I don't even know, beakers and stuff, schematics and labs and just like cool fun stuff that's way over my head. I'd walk in there and be like, I could build you a shelf in the corner if you need me to do that for your beakers, but like don't let me touch beakers, I'll just break them. It's like, that's bad. But it does sound fascinating. It's quite an interesting and I would say massive topic of debate, especially in this country, because there seems to be, at least I mean, maybe it's just in my circle, I'm not really sure, but like I've seen this shift where, you know, not that long ago when I was like a young lad, we cared a lot less about the food we were eating, and it was just like, cool, this food's here and it's great and whatever, and like, you know, there was sometimes you're eating healthy food, sometimes you're eating garbage, and like almost didn't know the difference. And now, at least I like, again, in my circle, we're starting to like learn and notice that like almost everything that's like processed in the center of the grocery store is trying to kill you. It's like actively trying to kill you. And like there is like this little bit, there's a switch going kind of like back to, you know, I know a lot of people are like, yeah, I need to get like an acre of land and do like a mono farm or whatever the hell they call it, like a micro farm, and just like figure out a way to grow some organic something or another. And I'm just like, you should, man. It'd be awesome. Like when you get that first tomato, it'll be $980 in that one tomato, you know, but it'll be the most delicious tomato you've ever had. But like there's a weird divide on the like overall kind of health, especially in the food world, like the garbage that's coming out versus like the fight against it. I feel like the divide is very big. Does your like industry get blowback, like public blowback, protests or something like that?
Yeah, big time. There, some of the companies I work for are like the bad guys. Yeah, you know. They have, you know, lawsuits at the wazoo, and because they own the, you know, the herbicide technology, and so farmers use it, and sometimes they get sick, and sometimes they sue the company, and then it's hard to know who's right, because the companies have done their research to prove that it's not bad for you, but at the same time, maybe the farmer was not using it the right way, and it's a nasty business.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like, you know, like,
but there's a lot of money involved.
Yeah, it's like big tobacco running their own studies about if tobacco is like harmful. It's like, the guys who are in charge are paid by big tobacco. They haven't found a conclusive answer. That's interesting. Yeah, 40 years later. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I'm sure no matter what you're doing, herbicide, pesticide is terrible. I mean, it gets to the soil. Soil gets washed away into a creek.
Yeah, I mean,
gets washed away into a stream. We drink from that stream. Like, there's no way that's like, you don't have to go too far down the line. I know, like, I don't. Well, like, I mean, it's, you have to disagree for like your job to stay intact, but like, there's no way that stuff's like healthy. Like, you wouldn't go drink herbicide.
I would say the old school like pesticides that were post-war, and like the ones you would apply, you know, pounds and pounds per acre, that was like just copper based or whatever, like some things that were toxic, plain old toxic, we used for years, and that was bad. Nowadays what happens is that the regulations are so strong that you have to go down to like grams per acre, like ounces, I guess, in the US per acre, and
we use ounces in this country.
The amount, very strange. So at the end of the day, the amount that's spread on the field is tiny, and they've done the tests on those mice, on the rats and stuff, to show that the toxicity of the compound is minimum. And so I would say I wouldn't be afraid to altogether about those technologies, because there's
but like none would be better than minimal.
yeah, but can you do none like
No, I mean obviously, like you said, we're
yeah.
part of a bigger system.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, if we could snap our fingers and everybody had the same 1 acre parcel of land instead of like food desert cities, and everybody could grow, you know, 3 crops that the 4 people around you don't grow, and then you just barter. Oh, you give me sweet potatoes. Here's some onions. Obviously, that would be the move. But we can't just magically do that. So,
no, and I would say that if you go the organic route, if that's what you're referring to, like we're going to grow things organically, there's still plenty of pesticides that are being used in organic agriculture. They're just natural compounds. They were not synthesized like a chemical process kind of thing. So if you're able to find something in nature that's natural, that has an effect, which there are plenty of molecules that you can find in flowers and stuff that have.
like, what are some examples that like of some organic, like things that won't hurt?
So there's an insecticide called BT for Bacillus thuringiensis. It's like it's a bacteria that when the insect ingests it, it kills them, because it has little crystals that forms in the bacteria, and that's going to puncture the guts of the insect, and then they liquefy basically. But that you could eat a spoonful of that BT stuff and it does nothing to you, because it's not targeted to your guts. The insects are so way evolved, way out of,
because our gut biome is so different.
So different, not even the same. We call them receptors. So the BT compound is not going to do anything to you, but it's a bacteria that you can grow in a fermentation kind of thing, and then you spread that on your plants, and it makes like a cover on the plant, and when the insect takes a bite, it dies. Okay? So when I was talking GMOs before with the insect resistance, that's what we did. We took what was in the BT bacteria and we put it in the genome of the plant, and then the plant was creating those little crystals herself. We didn't have to put the bacteria on it, and then the plant is resistant to insects that way. So then you don't have to spray anything. But that's not organic because it's genetically modified. But the organic people can use BT on their plants, and they should, because it's awesome. I put it in my rain barrels because it kills mosquitoes. It's those BT dunks.
Oh, wow. Right. Because the mosquitoes will lay eggs in that rain.
The larva, yeah.
That makes perfect sense.
So that's a technology that's both like organic approved and also in the genetically modified realm. There's the BT.
And you would argue, respectfully, you're probably correct, that it's basically the same, but one can be labeled organic and one cannot because you did it in a lab.
Yeah, so the plant itself is resistant, and one you have to spray a product that's natural.
Right. But like they're doing the same thing, and it's literally we use the same BT product. Because I naturally found BT and then sprayed it on a natural plant, I could still use an organic label. Whereas you synthetically did it to accomplish the same thing and make a super plant, but we don't get to call it organic.
Yeah, and honestly, there's not that many out there that are BT GMO plants. There's going to be soybean, there's going to be corn, and that's probably about it. I mean, it's so expensive to create GMOs. You need huge companies with lots of investment, and so they go for the big crops. They're not going to make a BT, bok choy, because it's an Asian green and nobody eats it, like produces it at a large volume, and it doesn't. So
yeah, corn is just so aggressive. It's in everything.
Yeah. And when you buy sweet corn and you see those grubs in there sometimes, well, if it was BT corn, it wouldn't have those because they couldn't eat it because they would die. But you can eat it because you're not a grub.
Yeah. I mean the gut biome in a human is insane.
Yeah.
So like I don't know if they were joking or not, but somebody told me that like there's more like bacteria in your gut than like the cells in the rest of your body. So it's like
I wouldn't be surprised.
We're just like a host for a giant micro alien party in our stomach at all times, and the rest of us is just like not that much intelligence and importance.
I think you're right. I think I heard it's like for every one cell in your body, you have like 10 bacteria.
Equivalent in your stomach.
In your stomach, on your
and on your skin,
everywhere.
Your skin's just covered with billions. Yeah.
That most of them protect you from things and stuff.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
most of it, if not all of it, is good.
Yeah.
You know, especially because you can. I don't know about the skin. I'm sure you can do things, but I know the gut biome. You can change it. You can help it. You
Yeah.
can hurt it. So like, you know, you eat nothing but sugar, and you're feeding that candida bacteria, and that's like the worst. But like, if you're eating like a really good clean diet, and you have like a lot of good probiotics in your diet, then like you can really supercharge that like internal bacteria, and that really filters into the rest of your body, like in terms of how you feel and how like your skin looks, and like how your nails grow and your hair grows. Like, it's obviously the whole body's so connected, but it's really fascinating when, you know, if you've witnessed that change in yourself, like, whoa, it could be really like mind opening.
Yeah.
That's dude, it's so fascinating. I've never met anybody who does what you do. That is very, very crazy. Yeah. So the companies, because of the need for the like GMO alteration, sent you to America, or because of the restrictions in other countries that they're based in. You said they're based in Germany.
So yeah, it's German company, but
Okay.
they're worldwide.
Right.
And the market in Europe for GMOs is pretty much zero because they're against it.
Right.
And
Just like as an EU sanction.
I know for France, for sure, it's pretty
just
much no. Yeah, because French people love their food too much, and it's strikes the wrong string, I guess. When you talk
So what's your opinion on French food versus American food?
Well, I love food.
Me too. That's why I'm curious.
And there's definitely some dishes from France that I miss a lot. Things that are not allowed in the U.S.
Give me some examples.
Like the foie gras, the fatty liver.
Yeah.
From the duck and goose.
You can get that. It's just rare.
In the U.S., can you find foie gras?
Yeah,
Really?
I know there's a restaurant in New York City that you can get it, because like Anthony Bourdain was on TV, and I saw him eating it, and he was like, "I'm so full," and then the chef brought like another fat duck dish or something. He was like, "I can't eat any more food." And he was just like in this food coma on TV. It was the most boring episode ever, but I was like, I would eat that.
Yeah. But there's just some things, because in France, for example, we like to say that we eat every part of the animal, like the pig, for example. We eat all of it.
Yeah.
So they make, sausages out of parts of the pig that just don't exist in the U.S. because of
no waste.
No waste, yeah. But in the U.S., you don't eat too much of the guts, of the tripes, of the heart, of the brain, of the stuff. And
Are you a big wine person?
I don't know much about wine, but I do like drinking it. Yeah.
Okay. I don't really drink, but I've been told that like French wine is like similar to the great quality of like even Italian wine. Is that true, or are you biased on, you just like, do you think French wine is the top, or you just like not care? I'm legitimately curious.
I mean, I'm biased because I grew up there, and each region in France has their own wine that's been made for like hundreds and hundreds of years, and from this one grape in this one place. And so each wine is very, very different. And there's wine from my area where I grew up in the mountains that you can't find anywhere. And that's my favorite wine because I grew up with it, but it's also very unique in flavor. Now you come to the US, if you go to big stores, you can find French wine for sure. I don't know that those would be necessarily the best wines in the shelf. Like, yeah. I mean, they're just good wines altogether. Like if you look at the Côte du Rhône, which is a French wine from the Lyon area where I'm from, that's very popular, and it's very unique in flavor too, and it's very good. But if you've never had it, you might just look at it and be like, well, it's just another French wine.
Right.
But then there you go in Australia or even in the US, there's very good wines for sure.
Yeah, no, I mean, there are definitely dog shit and high quality wines from all over the world. Yeah. But I just kind of was curious, like, I don't know if maybe like the French make it differently, or if just like winemaking is kind of the same, but it's got an artistic flair everywhere. Like the process is more or less identical. I know you have to ferment and add alcohol, and you start with grapes. Like I know that's those things don't really change, but like maybe the French are like, oh, we only use a barrel made out of this wood. Or
I mean, I don't know. They all claim they have the little secret.
Their secrets, yeah,
and
absolutely.
There's one thing that's true for wine is that depending on where it's made, taste different because of the soil composition.
Yeah, I was gonna say something about the soil, because like if France is very no GMO, that like like I was talking about earlier, you back up, like at some point, like you make the argument, which I believe you, but you make the argument that's such a tiny amount of spray.
Mm-hmm.
But at some point, that spray gets to the soil. At some point, it rains. The soil is washed away into a stream, and and then like the grapes are growing in some, So if you have none of that, like France is very against it, that just means your soil is that much more organic, and that much more clean, and then therefore the grapes are that much more clean and organic, and it just like, especially if they're only growing like that special grape in that special soil, and then you've got, the mountains have a different moisture and altitude. So that's going to affect. Yeah. So like, have you ever seen the movie Sideways?
No.
It's a goofy, like dark comedy with Paul Giamatti, but he's like a super, super wine head, but he's like a cheap, like teacher, so he has no money for wine, but he goes on this like wine trip to Northern California, and he's like giving this whole speech about how like, only this grape can grow here because like it gets cooled off as the sun goes down, and anywhere else it wouldn't work, and blah blah blah. And he like goes on this whole tangent about like, we're not drinking Merlot, we're drinking Pinot, and it's just like I don't know anything about wine, but his like over the top reactions are very funny, and I like Paul Giamatti, but it reminded me of that, because I think for people who don't know about wine, it's insanely more technical than we know.
Oh, yeah.
Like, not that other liquors are less technical, but like you could make vodka out of anything, and you could screw it up and it'll be fine, because you're going to cut it with OJ or put it on ice. Like, who cares? Squeeze lime in it, but like wine's wine.
Yeah.
There's no like, we're mixing wine with something else to make it taste better. No, like this wine either tastes good or we're cooking with it.
Cooking wine, yeah.
Yeah. I only make 2 French dishes, and one of them is caramelized onions for something else, and then the other one is a wine sauce. So I just, I don't know a lot about French cooking, but
it's a lot of sauces and a lot of butter.
A lot of butter.
Parsley. Butter and parsley makes everything French, I feel like.
Really? Butter and parsley.
Like
okay.
Snails, we eat, escargot, that's butter and parsley.
Yeah.
You can really make a dish delicious with just, we have butter that has parsley in it in the store. It's
very good.
Parsley butter in the store, and you just use that for everything.
Is it tough, or was it tough? Well, okay, so let me back up. How long you been in the States?
12 years.
Okay, so it's probably not tough now. But was it tough to, like, I know for me when I went to Italy for a month, it was very strange, specifically breakfast. Because in America, it's like eggs, maybe cereal, or egg sandwiches. We were college kids at the time doing like a month-long trip. So when breakfast just looked like a deli meat platter, it was just like confusing, and it was hard. I was like, man, I really need like some eggs and like on a sandwich, like that, and so you doing the reverse, was it difficult to like come to American culture and be like, this is not the correct breakfast food? You guys are nuts. Was that hard? Or was it just like, nah?
I like how you boil it down to breakfast food. Like I left everything that I had, my friends, my family, to come to the US. I was 23 years old, and I was like, I don't think breakfast was the...
We could talk about that other stuff that is arguably less or more important, but I'm trying to think about food here.
I go 12 years back, and I'm like, what were you...
Because like lunch and dinner was not a big deal. Food was food, You're like, oh, I want a caprese salad for lunch. Like that's easy, right. Like I could get that for lunch here, but like breakfast specifically, that was very strange for me. We did like 7 or 8 different cities, always like a hotel breakfast or whatever, and it was just like I just couldn't get used to it. Like the first thing I did when I got home was I got like a bacon, egg, and cheese on a bagel. Like literally, It was like the first thing I did landing in New York City at JFK. I was like, this is what we got to do, guys. Like I need this immediately. Yeah. So I'm just curious.
No, it's a
23 years old. I mean, obviously there's some bigger stuff going on, but you still need to eat, and food is such a comforting thing for most people.
Yeah.
And you didn't have the ability to just like get your standard regular French 3 square meals a day.
Of course,
so
yeah.
you had to adopt.
Food is comfort. So if
Yeah.
I was missing my family, I could at least eat something that would remind me of home or something. But no, I didn't have any of that stuff, so it was pretty tough in the beginning. But I got used to it really quick. You know,
Do you have any top French restaurants that you have found in the Triangle that you recommend?
Actually, I don't know of any that is truly French. Like,
okay,
yeah,
that's fair to say, because I think I know one in Durham, but even I was like, I don't know a lot about French cooking, but this seems just like American with more butter. Which I don't know if that's French food, but I think it's more complicated than that.
If you take good ingredients and enough butter, it tastes French for sure. Yeah.
So the solution to French food is just butter.
And good quality ingredients to start with.
We got to start there for sure.
Yeah.
Do you like to cook yourself, or are you more of a go-out guy?
No, I cook. I cook a lot, yeah.
I love to cook. It's just so, like, first of all, I find it relaxing, especially the prep part. Like, getting everything chopped up is, like, one of my favorite things to do. And just, like, getting everything cleaned and, like, laid out, it's like organizing a puzzle before you start.
I noticed you're a very neat person. I looked at your house, and it's very...
I take it arguably to a, like, too far level, but I don't mind it, and it doesn't, like, cause any bad thing. Like, just knowing where everything is at all times and being able to just, like, know exactly where stuff is.
Like,
you whipped up the same spot.
You whipped up that coffee real quick, and it's really delicious.
Oh, I'm glad you like it. That's, you know, I give all the credit to the machine, but
you own the equipment.
But I do own the equipment, yeah. And Costco makes pretty good coffee. I like it, you know, ground it. I think the secret is to buy beans and grind for every one you make. Fresh. Instead of buying, like, you know, it already ground or grinding in bulk, like, you know, because that was just like, I guess that's technically just like a double shot of espresso, and then I poured a bunch of steamed milk. So I guess that's a latte.
We'd have to ask Tom.
We would have to ask Tom, actually. Yeah, I get confused about it sometimes.
Yeah,
because I'm pretty sure a latte and a white is the same thing with just a different amount of foam. Like, one has more foam, but it's like still espresso, still milk. And it's like, if one has more foam, it's a cappuccino, or it's a cappuccino and a latte. Like, a latte is just more milk, less foam, and a cappuccino is more foam, less milk. And it's like, oh, it's the same thing.
It's the same thing.
They should just be morphed into the drink. It's like, here you go. We're just doing a certain amount of foam today. Deal with it. Like, I never do it. Yeah, they need like a visual chart at every coffee shop. Like, here's what it looks like. Do you want this much foam? This much foam? This much? How much? Like, I'll be like, okay, way easier. I'm a visual person.
More foam, probably more pricey, although it's the same amount of stuff. I don't know.
Right, and it's like,
it's
like
fancier.
You can't really drink foam.
Nobody likes foam.
I don't. Yeah, I used to think the foam was like a big thing, and now I'm realizing, like, this is just a waste of time. Foam is pointless. What is this? Like, just give me the milk, give me the coffee, put it together. I want to drink it. I got stuff to do. So I used to as a kid be like, what are you doing? But now as an adult, I get it. My dad would just be like, he'd wait on the Starbucks line like everybody else, but then he'd just walk up and be like, black coffee, cup, no lid.
All right.
And they would literally just turn around and pour it and hand it to him. It would take 8 seconds. None of this with like syrups and all this crap. And they're just like, I want black coffee, no room for milk, no room for sugar. I'm going to throw the lid out. Just don't even give me like, and that dude would drive with no lid. And there were some stains in the car. There was one story where my dad was having like the intern drive him, because he runs an architecture firm and he gets interns all the time from like the schools that he teaches advanced studio design at. And the intern is driving, and the intern has no idea where he's going. He's from another country. Like, he's just being told turn left. And my dad's just like on a laptop in the front seat, not paying attention, on a phone call at the same time, with the coffee in the other hand with no lid. And the intern like is about to blow past the exit, and my dad's like, no, turn now. And the intern just, and the coffee goes everywhere. Like, I get in this car the next day to, like, I don't know, be driven to tennis camp. I don't even know. It's irrelevant. And I'm just like, the mat is like, it should be a tan carpet, and it's just a black coffee, the size, like the whole mat is just a black coffee stain. It's all over the door. Like they didn't really clean it up. It's just the drip stains are just permanent now. I was like, dude, if this was my car, I'd be pissed.
If this had milk and sugar in it, that would have been nasty.
Oh,
but it was black coffee.
I never even thought about that. All those coffee stains would have been so much worse because ants would have gone.
There you go.
Oh yeah, because we lived in the country too, like my parents' house is still like dead end farm road, last house on the left in upstate New York. Like we're in the country with some real grubs, as you said.
Yeah.
Some real grubbies. Yeah. So I guess like, you're a scientist?
Yeah.
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 I mean, that's pretty crazy. Like I don't know any scientists.
Oh, there's a lot of us here in the area in the Research Triangle Park.
Man,
it's all about science.
Maybe
man.
I'm just like intimidated. I don't know. I feel like a little dumb. Like you like genetically alter plants. I like screw dead plants together and build a box for people to sleep in. Like it's a very different. Like I just it's a different smart, but it makes my smart doesn't seem as important or as intelligent.
Yeah, I mean you
like if I read the books or the manuals that you have for the machinery in your office, I don't think I'd understand it.
No, because it's all about different terms and
yeah. Like I'd have to learn that language. Like it's
well, the same for you. If I show up on your work site and you say, "Hand me the hexa head, I don't know, wrench number 15," I'll be like, "What are you talking about?" And what I was gonna say is that you work for yourself. You have a business. Like it's a different lifestyle. I've always worked for big companies. Like I don't know how it feels to not have a boss.
Yeah,
Yeah,
touche. Fair enough. I guess you have a little more restriction, like
lab coat, safety goggles.
Like you're probably not even like allowed to say your company name on here, or can you?
I don't know.
I don't know either. We probably shouldn't, just to like make sure. But like I could say my company name all day long. My company is a sponsor for this podcast.
There you go.
But like, you don't even know if your direct boss or the boss above that person, if you're like allowed to be like, I work for blah, blah, blah. Like we might not even be able, you might have a compliance officer kind of like Tom for his financial thing. Cause you have enough, I don't know. Pressure, I guess. That's not really the word. I was just saying, it's just like enough chinks in this chain as you go up, and like lawyers and like big, like they're like you said, there's like protesters and people.
I don't say anything sensitive. Like I'm careful about what I share, and
for sure, you're not giving away proprietary technology.
I could probably give the names of the companies and not get in trouble, but it doesn't matter. At this point.
Fair enough. Yeah, okay.
People who know me will be like, I know.
Yeah, that's true. Tom will know. That's all that matters.
You Google big German agricultural company, there's like 3.
Right, and you probably have a contract with all 3 of them, or have bounced around to all 3 of them at some point.
2 of them, yeah.
2 of them. There you go. 2 out of 3. Okay, so you got like a 33% chance of guessing what comes. So let's write some letters. Yay, 18 listeners I've got. Come on, write some letters. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so completely switching gears. Do you own a house?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you done any work on that house?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, let's start with, when did you buy? Like what year did you buy the house?
So it was 10 years ago.
Okay, it's about the time I bought this house. So the market was in our favor as buyers.
Yeah. It was really good.
How old was your house then?
So it's been built in 1962.
It's a little older.
It's a ranch. It's a single-story classic ranch with a carport, like you see in 1960s house.
Yeah, brick.
Yep.
Brick outside.
Yep.
Yeah, carport, the same roof line, and it's just carport on one side.
No, it's a detached carport. So
it's detached.
Older,
okay. Like metal detached. Yeah. One of those ones you can just like buy from the Amish barn guys on the side of the highway.
That's right.
Yeah. But they work.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're not like the most attractive, but they work. Like it's at the end of the day, it's like what are you trying to do?
I'm like that works. Yeah.
Yeah, or like an area to cut something in the rain or whatever.
Yeah.
So if you have a brick house, I'm going to assume that you have done not a lot of siding work.
We just repainted the house.
Repainted it.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. When you repainted the brick, did you go with a stain or a paint?
It was a paint.
And did you do any research about the fact that like bricks are porous, and when you are filling that porosity up with paint, that you like get rid of that?
No.
Or did you use a specialty paint for that?
Is that important? The porosity of
It's
the brick
pretty
in the
important.
house?
It's too late now for you, but
Yeah.
it's pretty.
We had
important.
it done by professionals, so I'm assuming they used the right kind of paint. But I could see the breathability of the brick being compromised.
Yeah. So obviously I haven't seen your house, and I don't know, but like as you lay brick. So okay, first question: is it like brick over a stud frame? Like, is the brick the structure of the house, or is the brick over 2x4 like studs? Or do you not know?
I don't know. I would have to open up a wall to.
So on the inside of the house, is it brick or is it sheetrock?
No, it's sheetrock.
Okay, so I don't know, but most likely the brick on the outside is siding. It's not the structure of the house. Okay. Because if it was the structure, you'd see the brick on the inside. Not always, but a lot of times. And so like you still build like a house out of 2x4s, and then there's an air gap, and then you build the brick, and every couple of inches or feet on all directions, there's like a little piece of metal thing that goes between, like sandwiched between the bricks and tied into the studs as you go up. But then at the bottom of the brick, every couple of feet or whatever, there's just like no mortar, and there's a weep hole, this little like plastic thing, so that any water that incorrectly gets behind the brick has an exit.
Oh, okay.
Because like in an ideal world, no water would get anywhere you want it to not be. But a lot of building practice is what happens if it accidentally gets there. Where does it go? What does it do? So that's why a lot of times, like for example, a modern house, when they're framing a window, before they put the window in, they'll put a piece of slanted wood on the bottom, slanted outward, so that if water gets behind the trim that you nail up, it will go down the window track, which has been taped so it can't get in, and then hit that slanted piece of wood, and that has been taped so it won't rot, but it'll hit the slant and go away from the house, and then follow the inside between like the plastic wrap and the siding, and follow its way all the way down and get out of the house. And if you trap it in there, that's how rot happens. Like the standing water is really the problem. If like a tiny little drip runs and just gets out of there, that's not really an issue, because you've got the plastic wrap now with like Zip R system, where it's like the green board that has the wrap impregnated on it with the black tape. Like it's so incredible now. The tech has definitely come a long way. So you got that painted. You said you hired a professional, not yourself. How do you go about finding that professional?
They were our neighbors.
Oh, your neighbor's a professional painter?
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Did you already know them as like good friends and neighbors? And then like you were like, hey, we've been living here for 5 years. It's time to pull the trigger. Like, you want to do it?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. What are some other things that you did to the house?
New roof, tankless water heater.
Did you switch from electric to gas?
It was a gas tank.
Oh, it was already gas. Okay.
In the house, and so we wanted to save space because the house is kind of small, and so we took it out, and it was leaky and all, so we got rid of that, and we went tankless outside.
The Renai?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I got. It's the best. Yep.
They're good.
I went from electric tank, so it was a big upgrade for me to go to gas tankless. Like, oh, it's on demand. It's so fast. Yeah. The gas is so cheap. Like, yeah. I showed you the grill and the stove and the fireplace. The water heater was like the fourth part of that puzzle, because I did all 4 of those at the same time because I had no gas. It wasn't run from the street.
But you had access, like the street had a gas line you could tap
Yeah,
into?
the city has a gas
Okay,
line,
yeah.
and like PSNC or whatever the gas company is, they were like, we'll trench it for an insane amount of money unless you switch over enough appliances, and then we'll trench it for free. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to do these 4. And they're like, yeah, we'll do the trenching for free. I was like, woo, let's go. Yeah, because I guess like they want to make sure you have enough of a monthly gas bill to make it worth their while.
Yeah.
So like they need you to switch over heat or hot water. So since I was doing the hot water heater, they were like, that's enough where we know we're going to have like at least $20 a month with you. So we'll do the trenching for
forever.
Yeah. So that was pretty clutch. So you upgraded hot water heater, saved some space, definitely got a better feel when you're taking a shower for sure. Yeah, absolutely. What else did you
do? The whole HVAC system is new.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's gas heater under the house, and then there's the cooling unit outside the house.
Right. So what most people in North Carolina, when they look out their window and they see that box that's an air conditioner, it's actually not an air conditioner. Most of the time, that's a heat pump, and it's doing both. But you have a separate system where when you actually look outside the window, you see a air conditioner. And in the winter, it is off, period, end of conversation. And then in your crawl space, most likely, or attic, depending on your house, but I'm assuming with you, crawl space, there is a gas-fired furnace that is only doing heat. So that is not insane at all, but it's a little uncommon in North Carolina. A lot of the houses are heat pumps, all electric. Yeah. If you talk to realtors, there is a legit fear of gas among most especially a first-time home buyer. They are really like, oh, but gas explodes. Like, okay, yeah, electric also burns houses. Like stuff is dangerous if you don't maintain it. But it's a big thing.
Okay.
Yeah. So like when I switched to the gas stove, at my realtor's suggestion, I kept the 220 outlet under there. So if somebody wants to pull that out and just plug an electric back in, they can. And they can just kill that gas line with a shutoff. Yeah. And they can shut off the fireplace. They could shut off the grill. And I left the electric water heater in the crawl space, and they could just rewire it real quick. Switch back.
Wow. Yeah, I don't have that option.
I was just kind of, I have a unique crawl space. My crawl space is tall enough to be a basement, and it just isn't. And it's huge. Like I'm 6'5", I can stand up in it. And so like it was very easy to just be like, okay, leave it there. Like it's not bothering anybody. Cut those water lines. And if I go to sell this house in however long, it'd be very easy to just plumber and electrician for minimal time and money could just re-implement that and abandon the gas line altogether if you wanted to.
Smart.
Yeah, if it like really bothered you.
Yeah.
But it's a growing thing, according to the realtors I've had on the show. They've mentioned it. So HVAC system split, gas and electric. What else?
We actually turned a half bath into a full bath recently. Okay. So in the main bedroom, there was a half bath, so just a toilet and a sink. And it was about 2 feet wide. And then on the other side of the wall was the laundry area that was kind of big for the need. So we actually pushed the wall. Well, I had somebody do it, but pushed the wall a couple feet and then added a shower in there. And so now the main bedroom has a bath attached, full bath.
Fantastic. So now you have 3 full baths?
Two.
Oh, it was a 1.5.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So big improvement.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it's under 1,000 square feet, 3-bedroom.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
It's a small. But the previous owners added almost 700 square feet of unpermitted space in the back. So I have 2 huge rooms that I use all the time. One is my lab because I'm a scientist.
I just imagine like Dexter's lab. Just
actually, my dog is named Dexter, and we call it Dexter's Lab. No kidding. So you nailed it there.
Well, you opportunity not missed on your behalf. I salute. Game recognized game, sir. Yes, nicely done. Yeah.
And then the other room was used as a church before me. Like they built an extra room, and when I visited the house, there was like a an organ in the side, and a bunch of chairs and stuff. And so now we still call it the church, but it's more of the party room, and there's a projector and a screen and video games.
Very cool.
Music instruments.
What kind of video games and musical instruments?
Well, my wife just finished Hogwarts Legacy last night, so if you're about Harry Potter, you would know what I'm talking about.
I mean, I like Harry Potter, but not enough to play any video games.
It's a good game. It's a good game, and she loved it. And I'm lucky that my wife loves video games, so we can nerd together sometimes.
That's cool.
Yeah. But I play Rocket League, if you've heard of that.
I have not. Yeah.
Okay,
I think I sold my PS3, and at the time it was Modern Warfare 2, Call of Duty.
Okay.
That was like that was sweeping the world.
Yep.
And then I like sold my game systems and was like, this just isn't for me.
Okay.
And then that's it. Yeah. So it's been a minute.
Yeah.
I'm many systems and games behind. But I liked Modern Warfare 2. I liked Battlefield.
Yeah.
Battlefield was fun. All the
fun.
vehicles and stuff.
Yeah.
And then I don't know. Video games just like now I same amount of screen time. Now it's just like TV.
I know.
I love
Yeah.
shows, movies, Marvel movies especially. Can't get enough of them. But yeah, it's probably because I'm just not very good at video games. I was pretty good at racing games, but not like anything else.
Well, we play games because you can play most of the times together. So you're like sharing, split screen, old fashioned game.
N64 was the jam back in the day.
Oh, N64 with like GoldenEye.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Dark.
split screen GoldenEye. Yeah.
Those games, man, those were OG.
Yeah,
the real
Mario
stuff.
Kart, like the original N64 Mario Kart. That was primo. Yeah, that was
so much
awesome.
fun with like 4 people playing.
Yeah,
fighting.
like you look back and like, damn, that screen was small. Now like that whole screen is one split screen now,
I
like
know.
a 65-inch. We were like, like our heads were basically touching as we were like crowded behind some like 30-inch screen, and we thought it was so big.
Yeah.
It's crazy how the tech changes. Yeah. Now like my computer is probably bigger than that screen that like we were sharing back in the day. I think I am also remembering I had a Wii.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was just like Wii Sports.
Yep.
And then there was like a reimagined Mario Kart that I wanted to play.
Mm-hmm.
And then Mario Party was fun with
Mario
like
Party
a bunch
good,
of people. And then I eventually just like got rid of that as well. It just became one of those things where it was like when you don't play it for long enough, it's like, okay.
But Wii Sport, man, you play bowling in your living room.
I know.
Wii Sport.
I know.
Tennis.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that was a good time.
There was a good time. What's more fun though is like going and playing real tennis. Yeah. Yesterday I was playing pickleball. Have you played?
No, I heard it's
sweeping the nation.
I heard it's sweeping the nation, but I haven't played.
It is shockingly fun.
All right.
Like I'm addicted now. I've played only 3 days, but like one day, each one of those days I played for like an hour, which means I played like 7 or 8 games because they're really quick games.
Do you play on a tennis court?
You can play on a tennis court, but it's different lines. It's much smaller.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so like it's how on a tennis court there's like the 2 small serve boxes in the front and then there's the big box in the back.
Yep.
If you didn't have the pickleball lines, you would only use the front 2 boxes.
Okay.
So it's kind of like mini tennis.
I see.
A pickleball court is even narrower and then just like 3 inches longer than that middle line.
Okay.
So it's just like a little narrower and a little bit longer. But then there's a line like 2 feet from the net. So that like 2 feet from the line to the net is called the kitchen. You got to let it bounce in the kitchen because otherwise you would just be slamming it. It would be a useless game. So if you're so you can't, like if you're me at 6'5", I can't just stand in front of the net. I got to stand behind that kitchen line because I got to wait for it to bounce.
That's right.
So that makes it. But it's basically tennis meets ping pong with a slight volleyball scoring where it's like you have to be serving in order to score a point. So like if the other team is serving and you win the point, it's just the next person serves, you don't get any points. And then when you're serving, if you win the point, you get a point. So and it's 11 by 1 win by 2. So you go through games, like you can go through a game rather quickly. Or you can, have an 11-8 grudge match. But like it's so fun, and it's such easy way to like break out a sweat, but not like really be like murdering yourself. Like I went to Chapel Hill and they were like old dudes just killing it because it's like not a tremendous amount of like sprinting and like, the court's really small. And you literally just need this tiny little paddle. Like there's no equipment. You need like sneakers and a paddle. Done. End of conversation. Like like everything else is sugar coated. Like that I ordered paddles on Amazon for like no money. Yeah. So it's so much fun. I highly recommend you get into it.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're on Monday, Durham opens their first pickleball only courts. They built, I think, like 15 of them at Pineywood Park in Durham, and they open them on Monday. Yeah. This won't come out for, 3 months after that. Monday, December 18th, they're opening them. This will come out in like February or March or whatever. Okay. We're so many weeks ahead. But it's okay. So how often do you go back to France?
Once a year, usually for Christmas. But not this year.
I was about to ask if you were going.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
Did they ever come here to visit?
They're coming this February, maybe when this episode comes out. They'll be in
there. You go. Yeah. Absolutely, just in time to hear it. We'll make sure it comes out when they're here, so you can pick them up at the airport and be like, "It's me. Listen to me on the radio.
You don't
I made it. I'm
you
famous."
Don't understand English, but that's okay.
They don't understand English. No,
a little bit. Yeah,
a little bit,
just enough.
Yeah. You mentioned your wife and you play video games. Is she French? Did you meet her here?
No, I met her here.
Okay.
Yeah, she's from Chapel Hill.
She's from Chapel Hill. Nice.
Yep. Yeah, we were working together, and she was an intern, and I hit on the intern. You know how that goes.
Nice.
With my French accent.
Man, it was over.
I was driving a Mustang at the time. Yeah. I was driving a Mustang at the time.
Oh, man. The Mustang with a French accent. You were like, I've got the French cheese. I snuck it in. It's whatever, unpasteurized or something like that.
That's right.
Yeah.
Illegal.
That's the thing, right? It's unpasteurized.
Yeah.
Is it actually illegal, or is that just the joke?
I don't think in the U.S. you can have unpasteurized stuff. Yeah.
Do you, science man, do you know the difference? Because I don't know the difference.
Well, the pasteurization process kills a bunch of microbes, and so it's like cleaner cheese. But at the same time, how there's good microbes in cheese sometimes, and so you kill some of them as well. So, it's like raw milk versus the pasteurized milk. Like, so you're missing some of the things, but at the same time, it's maybe protecting you against something.
So some of the things could be bad, some of the things could be good, and nobody really knows.
I mean, French people have been eating unpasteurized cheese for generations, and they're doing pretty good.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, everyone's healthier than America, so I would probably go with the French unpasteurized. And I'm an American. Like we're not healthy. You look at the obesity rate. I think only Australia is worse. And yeah, it's bad.
Yep.
It's real bad. Yeah. If you put on some weight since you moved here.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. There's fries everywhere. Just everywhere.
I know.
Yeah. I went to a Greek restaurant and it didn't say fries on the menu, and we didn't order them. And then our food came and they were like, yeah, here's your shawarma without pita, and it comes with fries. And it's just this huge basket. And I was like, oh my God. I looked at my girlfriend. I was like, push those to the left. Those are yours. I can't. Like, they're so addicting. You can't help it.
Yeah.
Those oils, man.
Good stuff.
Woo. Yeah. So does France have the same restrictions to the equivalent of American junk food, where like it's not made with the same addictive properties? Because I know that, like, I watched this video and like the scientist behind Cheetos, which used to be one of my favorite junk foods. Now I'm like eating super clean and I don't want to eat that garbage. But like, I watched this video that apparently they've been scientifically engineered to that the way they dissolve against your tongue tricks your brain into thinking you're not full, so that you just keep going after them. And so like with the same mindset of the no GMO in France? Do they make like, are Cheetos not allowed, and or do they make like the Cheeto company make one that's not as bad, like, or does that slip through?
I mean, there's different regulations, and so there's chemicals that they put in foods that are not allowed in France. Like certain colors of the M&Ms or the Skittles and stuff, you don't see those colors. Forget which color it is, but it's just like here in the U.S. Sometimes California is like no for this, no for that, because they have their own regulations.
California is our most like aggressive state. Some would say, and I would agree on a lot of things. They've gone too far. They were like climbing up this hill of like, yeah, I'm really with where you guys are going. Healthy, energy efficient, energy, health, and then like, especially with COVID and some of their insane restrictions, it's like, okay, now you're at utilitarian dictatorship, and this is weird. Like, you should let people go to the damn beach. Like, what is happening? Yeah. But yeah, that's another conversation for sure. So like, I know that you mentioned the chemical thing. A big topic I have with people I meet from England is the Kit Kats. Brit Cats versus American Kit Kats. That's a huge one where you can immediately bite both of them and be like, this is, Americans are gross and the British one is better. Like, immediately. The American one is like waxy. It's like the chocolate's not as good. There's a chemical that I don't remember the name of that is put into the chocolate that helps it resist melting for the transportation in like the, because it's just like in foil in a cardboard box in a big truck in the middle of heated America. Yep. And because they're not like, excuse me, like milk or whatever, or freaking meat is refrigerated trucks, but like Kit Kats aren't. That's just in a cardboard box. And so there's a chemical in that chocolate that stops it from melting. And that's not allowed in the English chocolate, the British chocolate, I should say. And so like, among other things, probably like the dyes and certain stuff, that's a huge factor in the chocolate quality. And you just like, if you've been on Brit Cats for a little while and you go to an American Kit Kat, you're like, this literally tastes like chalk, like wax. Yeah. It's very strange. And that's just like furthermore on that topic that we've circled around of like, that shouldn't be allowed in food. Like, that's not a natural thing in like the human body.
The purpose is convenience.
Right.
It's not taste or value for your guts. You know, it's not nutrition. It's just convenience. It's like it needs to not melt at room temperature.
Right.
Or hotter.
Yeah. But it's like, it becomes a very slippery slope, because it's like, yeah, that's poison. But also, especially in America, I am free to poison myself. Don't tell me what I could eat. But it's like, dude, that's poison. But I don't care. I know it's poison. I want to eat it. So you got this left and right, and on that wasn't a left and right political aisle. That's just one side talking to the other side. You know, on this particular Kit Kat thing, that wasn't like a Republican versus Democratic reference. That's just like the left brain versus the right brain is like, well, I know it's bad, but I don't care. So it's like, oh, okay. Do we put like a poison label on Kit Kats? Or like, you know. Like, I don't know what the answer is, but at 32, very recently, I learned like more, I should say, about nutrition, and some of it's scary. Like, some of it's a little terrifying to learn certain things about certain ingredients and then find out how common those ingredients are. It's like, whoa. You're telling me we know that that's that bad and we just put it in all this stuff? Like, that's not okay. That's weird. You know? And it's just like
people don't know, though. They're not aware.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I would assume for the vast majority, they don't know. Like, you just taught me.
I would think you're right.
The Kit Kat story, I didn't know that. So, you know.
Yeah.
I love Kit Kats. So.
They were my favorite candy. They probably still are my favorite candy. But like, the abundance in which I ate them was too much. For anybody on any nutritional spectrum, I was like, that's too many Kit Kats. Yeah, stop that, man. Stop that, man. He broke the Kit Kat bank. Yeah. Yeah, so it's just very interesting that, like, you know, because France is a very old country. And America is not a very old country. And, you know, there's definitely, I don't know who's right and wrong, and I don't know if either one of us are even qualified to say. I mean, we could have an opinion, sure, but like, we don't know. You're a smarter person than me in the food science world, and you probably don't even know like which one's actually right and which one's wrong. And you know, that depends on everybody's personal moral compass, you know?
Yep.
But it definitely seems like they were growing natural food for centuries before we even knew what weed killer was.
Yeah.
And like, French people are, for the most part, pretty like trim and healthy and have like a long lifespan. They're not like dying off fat at 50.
Nope.
And like, then you look at the American health, and it's like, we kind of have this other mindset where it's like, I got a better idea. Why don't we just eat trash? And then when our body breaks, go to this all equally trash healthcare system and say, I don't want to take any responsibility. Give me something to hold me up and a pill to fight these 8 things. And it's like, that's strange. Like there's a real clear other path of like a lifetime of just being a little bit healthier to not break down as aggressively. And sure looks like in America we've just ignored that. We ignored that path, and we're like, well, we've got the healthcare system, so like they'll give me a drug for my blood pressure. Very strange.
Yeah, it's a very different system.
Very different system. Yeah.
It's I mean, it's at the scale of the country. It's huge. Like, why are people not choosing to eat healthy? Well, I mean, there's probably many reasons. Like, the price of farmers market vegetables is not the same as the one at Food Lion, and the organic stuff is a little pricier than the conventional stuff, and so
you know, you couldn't be more spot on. But the organic vegetables that you chop up and it's enough for like 3 or 4 salads is the same, if not less, than the like one meal at McDonald's. So like that's the part where I'm like, you made an intelligent statement, but I respectfully am gonna be like, I don't know if that's really true.
yeah.
Like,
I mean,
like you buy the stuff to make a salad, and it's not one salad worth of stuff, so it seems like a lot of money. But if you chop it up and dry it up and put it in 4 Tupperwares, and you have 4 days worth of salad, and then you just dress them as you pull them out of the fridge, that's cheaper than the 4 trips to
and what's in your
pizza
salad?
or McDonald's.
Yeah, I know.
For me?
Yeah, what's in your salad?
I mean, it's white mushrooms, red bell pepper, green bell pepper, spinach, shredded carrots, cherry tomatoes. Did I say spinach? Yeah, I said spinach.
Yeah.
I think that might be all the veggies. And then I will do olive oil, balsamic vinegar, freshly cracked pepper, and 6 ounces of grilled chicken. So I'll like grill a whole Costco pack of organic chicken thighs, and I'll put like half of that in the freezer, half of that in the fridge, and I have a little like food scale, and I'll just like 6 ounces, boom, boom. It's already like chopped up, ready to rock in bite-sized pieces. So it's like I pull the salad out. The trick is I buy 8 to 10 salads worth of stuff, and I chop everything up the right size and clean everything and like shred those carrots with a peeler and all that. And then I lay out my whole island with white rags. Then I lay out all the produce.
Okay.
And then put rags on top and thoroughly dry everything. And that's the secret to getting a salad to last in a Tupperware for a week. So otherwise it gets too moist and the spinach wilts and the mushrooms turn gross and you have to throw out the salad. So if you really dry everything off, then portion it up, and I have Pyrex containers. And then they all go in the fridge, and then I pull them out, and it doesn't have the dressing yet, and it doesn't have the chicken. So then it takes me like 2 seconds to like dressing, chicken, lid back on, shake, shake, eat it right out of the thing, boom, done. I also take life to the extreme when I do something. So like I'm meal prepping my whole life. I've got blueberries washed and portioned in little Pyrexes. Like, I'm just that guy. But I was like extremely overweight, and I'm trying to like make a health change, and I'm right in the middle of it. So that's me, and it works for me. I'm not saying everyone has to do that, but just kind of like on the comment of like the organic is more expensive. Yeah, the organic is more expensive. The organic pepper is more expensive than the other pepper right next to it. When you look at the 2 bell peppers at Harris Teeter, you're definitely right. But if you're going out to eat, you can make much better food from the organic aisle and go get a fresh piece of fish on the correct day at the grocery store and go get some good lean ground meat of whatever your preference is. You could make good food for a lot less.
Yep.
And stores like Costco, where you can bulk buy and really use the freezer to stretch some stuff. Like it doesn't take a lot, but yeah, you're right. When you're looking at 2 identical pieces of produce and one's organic and one's not. So like if you're already doing what I'm doing, meal prepping, and you're just like, I'm not switching to organic. I don't have the budget for that. You're probably not the person I'm talking to. You're probably already doing well if you're already like a meal prepping. And it's just not organic produce. But like, especially lower socioeconomical, where McDonald's might just be the jam, like, it might be hard to get started because you might need like a couple of extra dollars to go buy like some Tupperwares the first time and spring for like, oh, I only have the money for McDonald's, but like if I saved up 2 McDonald's meals and I spring and then I bought 4 lunches worth of food and prepped it out, like this is baby steps. They go a long way.
Yeah. I think coming back to the story of how you prepare your salads for the week, it's putting the work in early beforehand. Like you have to invest time and energy ahead of time. Like you're not eating all those salads right away. Like you're investing your time to prepare it for later. Yeah. And I think that is something that people probably have a harder time to do. Like, if you have the choice between a drive-through and working maybe 30 minutes at the kitchen and buying the produce and stuff, it's where you put your energy. Yeah, but also, I think you're right. But I would say that at the end of the day, I'm saving time than the other person. Because I personally think that the amount of times I get to grab a meal without thinking about it for like, okay, so I did the 30 minutes worth of work, but then I was able to save 30 sitting in the drive-thrus. Or sorry, like 8, like that 30 minutes led to 8 meals. That's 8 drive-thrus I didn't sit in. Yep. That's 8 times I didn't have to make change or swipe a credit card. It's 8 times I didn't have to think about what I wanted to eat. That's the big one. Yeah. Is not having to think about it. Be like, oh, I have a delicious organic salad and chicken. Like I'm ready to rock. I don't need to meet you for lunch. I'll meet you for coffee. Lunch is good. Lunch is done. I don't have to think about that. Yep. And so like I would argue that it's an initial more time. But when you look at the week of either the drive-through or making a meal every day or going out to a meal, that I think I've spent less time cooking in the week. Yeah. No, and I definitely saved money, and I definitely did healthier. Yeah. Saving money is the same principle. Like you have to put money aside now for the future. And money is time. So literally, if you're saving time and then you can make money with that time where you didn't have to waste it doing something else, it just translates to the same thing. Yep. Yeah. So it's a situation that, you look at it, you're like, it makes perfect sense, but at the same time, it's not an easy switch, I would say. Like it's habits, changing habits, putting your time in a different place, investing more time in the kitchen, farmer's market if you're into that stuff, and then. Is there a good farmer's market in Cary? Yeah. There's a great one in Durham. I haven't been in the Cary one. Is it year round? Yeah. Nice. What day? What time? It's Saturday morning, 8 to 12 or something like that. It's the same as the Durham one. And they do, now it's in the new Cary Downtown Park. I don't know if you've heard of they just opened. It's been in the works for 20 years. It's 7 acres. It's right downtown Cary, and it's beautiful. How's parking? Well, I can walk there because I live downtown Cary. That doesn't help me. I can't walk there. But there's parking. There's a parking deck and stuff. But it's a beautiful place that you have to see, and it's a social district, so you can actually grab a drink and walk around with your beer.
Yeah, those are blowing up now. They have
Yeah.
one in Raleigh and in Durham. They
Yeah.
took the hint from New Orleans finally. They were like, this is silly. Why are we
Yeah.
like, yeah. I think it was COVID that did this because all the restaurants had outdoor dining
Mhm.
built on the sidewalk. And then people would be standing there with a drink, and there'd literally be like a little barrier where it's like, so on that side of the sidewalk, it's illegal. Right there, 1 foot away from where I'm standing, it's illegal. But here, I could stand with my beer, and everyone was like, "This is silly. Why don't we just like
Yeah.
we're adults? Like if we'll arrest you if you're an asshole either way. So just like
Exactly.
figure out how to be a responsible drinker as an adult. Yeah. Are you a big drinker? Is beer your jam?
Yeah, I mean, beer and wine.
Yeah.
I'm not a big drinker as in alcoholic, but I do
No,
enjoy,
I didn't mean that.
I do
Yeah.
enjoy a beer with my friends and a glass of wine with my wife. Yeah.
You're in the right like state when you picked America for beer. The like amount
Yeah.
of microbreweries in
Yeah.
North Carolina is shocking.
I know.
I'm not a beer drinker, and it seems that every brewery has their special IPA, which if I did get a beer, that's like my least favorite thing ever. I'm like, this is dark and hoppy and sour and gross and not making my belly feel good. So I just don't understand it. I just don't get it. But that's okay. I'm allowed to not get it, and everybody else is allowed to get it and enjoy it. But there's so many here. There's
I
just like
know.
a billion of them. They
Yeah.
pop up like weeds. Like we need round out for breweries. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, one just opened right near my house. I can walk there, literally walk there. Vicious Fishes, I like the name.
That's a cool name.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
And so there's a nice like beer garden, and so we can hang
That's
out. And they
cool.
have fire pits and live music and stuff. It's
That's
all,
cool.
so you know you don't
See, that I wouldn't mind because that's such a cool setting where I
Yeah.
can just go get a club soda and I wouldn't care, or get a water even, and just
Yeah.
be like, that's fine. Yeah. But a lot of times when you go to a brewery, like it's just taps and
It's just
stools,
taps
and it's
and
like,
stools,
man, I would like, give me something, give me shuffleboard, or like, so I just don't drink. So I'm the weird one, but it's okay. Have you been to, what's that one in Cary? Bond Brothers.
yeah.
Yeah. So monthly, Bond Brothers, I go to the meet and mingle. I don't know if Tom's ever mentioned it,
Yeah. Yeah.
but that's a super fun, like free networking event that got so big that they had to move it to Bond Brothers East Side because the lady had too many people were showing up. Or like you got to go to our other location. Yeah, it's a good problem to have, but I like Bond Brothers. That's a good spot.
How's the east side location? I have never been.
It's not as cool, obviously,
Okay.
but this event is on Mondays and they're closed on Mondays, so they just open it for the event. So it becomes like a private event, which is super cool. The last one I went to, obviously it's cold now, so we were only inside, but normally when it's warm enough, they like have a big glass garage door that they open up, and they have a little like outdoor fake like turf thing and heaters and lamps and like chairs and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool. I do like when it was a little smaller, it was kind of cool going to Bond Brothers regular and seeing like everybody in the main thing, and then we had like that room to the left, that like private kind of room.
Yep.
But like I said, the event outgrew that room and had to go to the East Side one. But as I said, not a big drinker. I'm only there for those events, so I can't really speak to like the vibe of East Side outside of the event. But the event is super fun.
Okay.
So you should come check
Yeah,
it out. Just
I'll check it out,
tag
yeah.
along with Tom one day.
Yeah,
It's super
I've
chill.
been once. We went to an event like that. I showed up and.
Did you go to the Rockstar in Durham at Nomu?
No, it was actually in Cary still. Cause,
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
I love Cary. You've
Yeah.
probably understood that.
Yeah,
by
I'm
now.
getting that a little bit. Yeah. Well, you're married. That's married people go to Cary. That's how that
okay.
works.
All right.
Yeah. You're dumb and single in Durham, apparently, or downtown Raleigh. And then you meet another dumb and single person in Durham or downtown Raleigh. And then you're like, let's get married and start a family. Let's go buy a house in Cary. And that's
Okay.
that's what happens.
Wow.
Yeah. That's what happens. Yeah. So, or Apex. Same thing.
Apex.
Yeah. Apex, Cary. That's like where people, that's like after you're young and dumb and you meet somebody, you go buy a house in Apex or Cary, and that's where the families are. Yeah. Are you guys have a family, or is it just the two of you?
Just the two of us and one dog, Dexter.
Dexter, yeah.
Yeah.
What kind of dog is Dexter?
Australian Shepherd.
Okay,
Yeah.
awesome. So you got a hair problem like me, but
Yep.
it's worth every strain. I don't know. Either way, it's worth it. They're perfect.
Every hair, yeah.
Dexter, that's great. Man, Dexter's Lab was fun.
Oh yeah. It was
So
my
fun.
favorite.
And Powerpuff Girls right after. That was a
Yeah.
great like time frame in cartoon history. Yeah.
That's
and,
right.
And when you switched over to Nickelodeon, that was like a good time frame too. Like
Yeah.
Rugrats was prime right then.
Oh, I love Rugrats.
Rugrats was great, and this was a little before SpongeBob. But when they got into early SpongeBob, like early SpongeBob was awesome.
Mhm.
Yeah, but yeah, '90s Nickelodeon was pretty good with the Nickelodeon
Yeah.
Studios and the Slime Awards, and like all that. And Are You Afraid of the Dark? Those were great shows. Those were
I
great
know,
shows,
I
man.
know, yeah.
I'm getting nostalgia over here, man. Shh. Okay, before we get, well, we're already off the rails, but I'm going to bring the train back around circle. Back to your house that we were talking about
Yeah.
30 hours ago. Let me see if I can remember. HVAC upgrade, hot water upgrade. We painted the outside. We redid the roof. And then we turned a half into a whole bath.
Yep.
Your 1,000 square feet is really 1,700 square feet, but
Yep.
you have 700 square feet of 2 rooms unpermitted
Because the ceiling is too low.
because the ceiling is too. Oh, what do you got? 6 foot?
No, 6.5. I
Yeah,
would say.
7 is the minimum, so
Yeah,
you
6
must
and a
be
half.
just under it.
Yeah.
But you're short, so that works.
I know,
Is
I
your
know.
wife short too?
Yeah.
Then you guys are good. Just
Yeah.
never sell. just never sell. You're good.
We're selling next year probably. So
No, don't do it. No, I'm just kidding. Do whatever you want. Yeah, hire me to build you your new house. And okay, anything else that you guys did
Well, we
or
went
got done?
one room by room and kind of pulled the carpets and put some engineered flooring and repainted the walls and changing the light fixtures.
Are all the floors now the same, or did you do
No, they're all
every
like,
room different?
every
and you
room
were like,
different,
oh, we're doing
yeah.
this just at the time. Just
Yeah,
all right.
we started with the smallest room and then worked our way up and
Floating?
Yep.
And then just shoe nose or the edge and you're done.
Yep.
It's pretty
Yep.
quick.
It's quick. It's
Yeah.
it's doable by myself. Like the worst part is pulling the carpet. Like
Yeah. Did you cut it up into strips before you started pulling it?
not the first time.
Mm.
I made a huge giant roll. You
And
know.
you try to get it out of your
Yeah,
house. It
yeah.
doesn't work that
No.
well. Yeah. The trick is the strips.
Okay.
Before you even start demoing it, you just cut the carpet into 3 foot wide strips, and then you just roll it up and you walk the 3 foot roll out,
Right.
and you just 6 rolls later, it's done. Yeah, that's the trick. Yeah,
Nice.
and then you just crowbar, you pop up those tack strips.
Yeah.
Quick little vacuum, and you're ready to rock. Yeah, it is remarkably easy to the snap and click technology has really come just so far. Yeah, is it holding up well with your dog?
Yeah. He's like sliding around on it because
Okay.
it's super.
But not scraping it.
No.
Yeah.
Done at all.
Yeah, because that's a big dog. It's like 70 pounds probably.
Yeah, 70
Yeah.
pounds. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's enough of a dog where you have to think about it.
Okay.
Yeah,
So far so good.
that's
I would
good.
Say. Yeah.
Well, you probably didn't get like the crap bottom of the
No,
barrel
no.
at like Lowe's. You know,
Yeah.
there's definitely some levels. We have 10 rentals. I don't know how much Tom told you about me, but we have 10 rental properties in Durham. And after we made the mistake in the very first house of carpeting the upstairs bedrooms and the staircase, we were like, okay, never again. And we do our houses now, one house, one floor, no transition strips, end of conversation. Bathroom, kitchen, hallway, one floor. And we use industrial, commercial grade glue down floor. It's like 8-inch wide by 3 foot wide strips. They look like wood, but they're like 1/8 of an inch thick rubber glue down like LVP.
Oh, okay.
And you like use a special glue with a notched trowel, almost like tile thin set, and you just lay the pieces. There's no groove, there's no click, there's nothing. They're just like butt right next to each other, really tight. And then you go over it with a 100-pound roller that you gotta like. If you're me, you rent it from Home Depot, or if you're my flooring guy, he owns one because that's all he does. and it just like, because you've notched the
Yep.
glue is notched, so just like tile against thin set, same concept.
Yeah.
And then we just do baseboard after floor, no shoe.
Okay.
So we save the money on the shoe.
Yep.
And more importantly, the flooring is waterproof, so we can do it right up to the tubs, right up to the showers. In the kitchen, no problem. Laundry room, again, no problem. And it looks good enough that we don't have to switch for bedrooms or whatever. So no transition strips anywhere. Save some money there. But then, most importantly, you need a bulldozer to gouge it. Like it's strong. It's really, really strong. Like we allow pets. We've, no issues ever. The only time the floor has been damaged was when a tenant put like a metal bed frame that clearly had some rubber feet that they didn't put on, and the metal gouged in 4 spots, the 4 legs of the frame.
Yep.
But as I aforementioned, not snap and click.
So you can
So you can just cut that one strip right out, scrape up that glue, put a little new glue in, and push a new piece in.
Wow.
Done. So every home has 2 extra boxes of the floor sitting in the crawl space or the attic, just for that reason. So it just like eliminated that aspect of like, that's a huge problem when you're like turning over tenants. Yeah, we just got rid of that. We are like, our whole family is so dog lovers, and like we all have dogs, all of us. My parents, well, their pug has just recently passed, but like we've always had dogs, all of us, our whole life. It's like we can't not allow renters to have dogs. Like it's just too.
Yeah.
We looked at each other. We can't do that. We're gonna charge like a moderate pet fee, but like we can't. We gotta so we gotta make it dog friendly. So we just thought like, okay, I'm the one right now in the family with the big dog. You met William.
Mm-hmm.
Studio dog has left. He's sick of hearing us talk. But I think like, okay, if Willie was on that floor, it would just get destroyed. So let's put in a different floor that just is Willie proof. So that's what we came with. And, I'm fortunate that, my mother and father, they own their own architecture firm. And so she's gone through millions of projects, 20 million types of floors. And she has the connect, to get that commercial grade, industrial grade, commercial floor that's like for apartment buildings and office buildings for like heavy foot traffic.
Yeah.
So if it can handle that, it can handle a residential setting. And it's just like that just like it's such a game changer. The tech is really crazy, because you used to just be like everybody wanted hardwoods.
Yeah.
But I feel like unfortunately, because I love them, they're not holding up as well as we want them to, especially with big dogs.
Yep.
And the cost to refinish hardwoods can be the same as installing them. So it's like, oh man, now we got 10 years later, we got to sand this whole thing down and refinish it. Like that is a process. It's not that much fun. No. It really sucks. Yeah. Did you do your floors one room at a time by yourself?
Yep.
Or you had someone come in? You did that.
It's just me.
Solo.
Yeah.
Because you can cut that floor with just like a big box cutter most of the time.
I got a miter saw.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Got some tools in your schematic filled science lab in Dexter's lab. Yeah. Okay, but what brand? Is it a Ryobi?
No.
Okay,
no.
Thank God. I was like, I'm gonna have to kick this dude out.
I know. What's up with Ryobi?
They're trash. They're just cheap.
Everybody talks about it. Okay.
They're trash, but they're cheap. Yeah, it's just that simple. Like if you really are if you're really a homeowner that's not doing anything serious, like yeah, I guess they work, and I guess Home Depot will take back the broken ones. I don't know, but like I do this for a living. I use Rigid.
Yeah,
because that's Home Depot's brand, and they service the batteries for life. If I could do it all over again, I would probably go DeWalt.
Okay.
Or Milwaukee.
Milwaukee, I was going to say. That's the
DeWalt and Milwaukee are pretty awesome. The only reason that I would pick DeWalt over Milwaukee, not a quality thing, just DeWalt is sold in more stores. That's the only reason. Because like you can get DeWalt at Sears, Lowe's, Home Depot, Menards, Amazon. Like DeWalt is everywhere. Yep. You can't get Milwaukee at all the stores. Oh man, hearing a weird playback. Hold on one second. All right, hopefully that's fixed. Sorry about that. We're recording again. Yeah, okay. So yeah, it's just sold in more stores. So that's just like the main reason why I would. But if I was like, the reason I would go back and pick DeWalt is not even that my rigid tools are bad, because they're not. DeWalt seems to come out with the newest tool first. So like every time they come out with a dope tool that didn't exist, that's now battery powered, Rigid, Ryobi, Milwaukee, they come out with the same tool like 4 years later. And it's like, yo, I want it too, man. Like, just share the patent already. Come on. Like, because everybody buys a tool and you're stuck with that battery.
Yep.
So it's like you're just locked in. So for me, it's like it has to be rigid, because I've got 35 rigid batteries that fit every tool I own. So I can't just go buy a DeWalt one and then start another battery collection. So it's not practical.
Nope.
So I just got to wait. And sometimes they just don't do it, or it takes years. It's really, really frustrating. Yeah. So what brand's your chop saw?
Milwaukee.
Okay, see, you're good. You can stay on the show. You can come back.
Okay.
You're allowed. We're going to air this one, everybody. Don't worry. Okay, did you do anything else to the house?
Well, we do a lot in the yard, in the backyard.
Yeah, okay.
Because we do a lot of gardening, so I actually built a greenhouse. I dug a pond.
Wow.
I have a chicken coop and a chicken run. Yeah.
Are you growing plants for beauty or food?
Food, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. And
so the guy who does the GMO is growing his own non-GMO food.
Yeah, you know that. And we were talking about my wife. She's
GMOing your own plants in the backyard?
No. That's too expensive.
Too expensive.
I was going to say my wife manages the farmers market in Sanford, so we get lots of good veggies from there. She's the manager of the farmers market. So shout out to Meredith, however you say it in English.
Dude, I'm glad we're friends.
Yeah.
If she gets extra produce.
We get tons of produce, fresh eggs.
Love to take it off your hands.
Do you like eggs?
If they're organic, I'll eat some eggs.
They're from my backyard. They can't be more organic.
Yeah, I'll eat some organic eggs for sure. Yeah, I'm not eating a tremendous amount, but yeah, I'll definitely eat some. I grew up with a chicken coop and eggs, and even chickens we would harvest and eat, and we would buy turkey chicks and raise them and harvest our Thanksgiving turkey.
Wow.
I didn't do a damn thing. We had a Jamaican couple do this whole thing. They worked for my parents, and they harvested like thousands of chickens in Jamaica before they came to America. Okay. And we were like, so could you do this? And they were like, yeah, we could totally do this. This is child's play for us. We were like, great. Awesome. We're going to not be here on chicken slaughter day. And you can just do all that over there and put it in the freezer. But you can taste the difference and see the difference.
Absolutely.
When you crack open that organic egg, the yolk color, the eggshell color, oh man, it's noticeable. And the taste is just different. You go buy those garbage, all white, not natural bullshit eggs at the supermarket, and they're all the perfect size, and they're all white and beautiful. It's like, that's fake. That's not nature. Yeah. Like yours, none of them look the same, right? You get like a little purple one, you get a nice brown one, and but the yolks are always so rich.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you just feed it all. You feed them all like your leftover organic veggie scraps.
Yeah, and they free ranging in the yard.
Yeah, they eat all the grubs that wouldn't get into your house. I love the word grubs. You said that, and I can't stop saying it. Yeah. So do you have the chicken run? Is it a movable chicken tractor, or did you just make a big run?
No, we made a big run.
Does it have a roof, or did you clip the wings?
There's a net.
There's a net. Okay. Yeah. It's a little roof. Yeah. Some people like to do like the net or just clip the wings.
Yeah.
Either or. I don't have either, as you can see, but I respect the hell out of the egg game for sure. Do you eat the chickens ever, or just eggs?
No, and technically in Cary, you're not allowed to harvest your chickens. There's a lot of rules, like we can only have 5 chickens.
Oh, wow.
I had to submit the blueprint of the coop to the city. It has to be so many feet from the neighbor's line.
I will never live in Cary, that's for sure.
So 5 chickens is the max, no rooster, and then you can't process the chicken.
No rooster?
No rooster. No.
How are you getting eggs? Wait a minute.
Well,
Whoa.
No.
Wait,
no.
I missed something there.
You don't need a rooster to have eggs.
I thought you needed a rooster to have
No, that's
eggs.
if you want fertile eggs that can hatch a baby.
Okay, so I was very misinformed. I thought you needed a rooster to just have like happy hens to lay eggs. I didn't realize that.
You don't need a rooster for eggs, yeah.
Okay, it's only if you wanted to make chickens.
Yep, if you want more chickens.
You want babies.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. So I grew up hearing that freaking rooster for no reason my whole life. Whoa. Oh, we're going to have a talk. Mom and Pop, if you're listening, prepare for a talk. And the talk is, did you know? Wow. Okay. And only 5. And you got it. Wow. See, I'm building a house in Orange County in Hurdle Mills where the rules are don't be a dick.
Yeah.
Like those are the rules. And
No
those aren't even really written down.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's actually kind of funny. I bought land from the people who own it live right behind it. They like chopped up a huge parcel into their land and 4 total parcels, and they sold off the other 3. And I bought 2 of them and partnered with another friend to buy the 3rd one. So the 4 of them, they wrote this like rules, this covenants document.
Yeah.
But bro, the last rule in the covenants document says these rules and covenants can only change if 75% of the landowners agree.
Yeah.
I own 3 out of 4. I was like, I am the 75%. So literally all of these covenants, I could just go to my lawyer and be like, type up a piece of paper that says your covenants no longer exist, signed Corbett, 75% landowner. And I could just like slide that under their door and be like, now I can do whatever I want. Like they're super cool. And they just don't want like me to get like a horse farm going or something like that. That was like the main rules was like no more than 8 horses or something. I was like, I'm not getting a horse. We don't have this problem. So I didn't really care, but I just kind of thought that was funny that it had that like loophole clause, thinking that 4 parcels would have 4 different landowners and they'd all have to get together. And I was like, yo, I am 75%. I am the majority. I don't even need to talk to you right now. Like I just get a kick out of that. But to have that kind of regulation, that's like similar to HOAs. I couldn't be more against that kind of thing.
Well, we don't have an HOA, so that's really the only rule that we've had. And 5 chickens, you get 5 eggs a day. Man, that's a lot of eggs.
That is a lot of eggs. There's only 2 of you.
Yeah.
So like even if you were eating a 3-egg omelet, which is big, and she's eating a 2-egg omelet, which is big, with veggies and stuff, like you can't eat eggs every day. No. That's a lot of eggs.
Well, they slow down in the winter and stuff, but we give them away mostly to my in-laws. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. Oh, right, because she's from Chapel Hill, so her in-laws are probably close.
Yep.
Nice.
And we're actually going to build a house there next year.
Nice.
Next to the in-laws, they have land. So
very cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you done any designs yet?
So we're going with a model house. Like there's already a model in place. Like we're going to make minor changes. But yeah. So
who are you using?
Red Door.
Red Door. I don't know Red Door. Interesting.
Okay. Yeah.
Very cool. We totally need to have a couple more episodes with you and your wife about this process, maybe even during and after.
Okay.
So I got another mic and set, so you both could come in like midway through the process and tell me how awful it's going.
Yep.
And then at the end when you're like, it was terrible, but we have our beautiful home. And I'll be like, cool, give me all the dirt. How many tile guys did you fire before you called my guy? That's always what I want to know. Yeah. That's literally the story of what's happening with this one lady in Cary as we speak. Like she's gone through so many subs until she called me and got my subs. And I was like, yeah, my guys do what I told you they would do. I don't know what your other people were doing, but like I don't put my name and my guys on the job without like getting it done. Like now my name's out there. Like my plumber's going to finish. Like she's like, so many plumbers just quit. I'm like, well, it's a terrible job, but we're going to do it. Like, it's not going to be cheap. Your other plumber screwed up twice.
Wow.
But you know, those are the toughest ones personally because, and understandably, but that client has been ripped apart. Like their trust has been broken.
Yeah.
Every contractor's a thief now in their head.
Yep.
And I got to go in there and be like, not only am I not a thief, I have a podcast giving away free information with my name out in the world. That like I put all that on my own personal shoulders. So like when I send my dudes under my name, like I just said, we're going to get it done because like I only have my name really. Like,
yeah, your brand, your name.
Like, yeah, like you work for a massive conglomerate, and like if you screw up, they don't care. They'll bring in another scientist.
Yep.
But you're also like a high-level scientist that's got like that job security. If your company screws up, you can go get a science job anywhere.
Exactly,
You know,
yep.
I'm a GC. If I screw up, my name goes way faster. People love to shout who screwed up.
Oh yeah.
From the rooftops. I've given this example on a podcast interview before, but like you've never been in a bar and overheard, "Hey Johnny, how's the kitchen renovation going?" "Oh, Mike, it's amazing. He's on time every day. It's done under schedule. It's done under time, under budget, and he was a breeze to work with." You've never overheard that at a bar. It's always, "Oh, Johnny, he's late every day. We're blowing the budget. He broke this. He screwed up that, blah, blah, blah." That's a more fun story.
Yep.
Everybody wants the like bloody, gruesome nurse story. Nobody wants to hear about everything going right. That's not fun.
Yeah.
That's not a fun story. So you don't tell that story. So even though that's mostly my stories, that doesn't get spread. But the first time I screw up, oh man, that'll be everywhere. The first time my plumber doesn't show or breaks something or whatever, like that'll be the story that gets passed around. And unlike you, where you could just go get that, like there are a billion of me. There are a billion contractors who supposedly can do the exact same thing. So at the end of the day, it's not really how we pound the nail. It's the reputation we have with the references we give you and the jobs that we've done and the quality of work in pictures. Like that's really what it is. Like at the end of the day, a licensed GC should have a licensed plumber, should have a licensed electrician. They should plumb the same way. They should electrocute the same way. They should HVAC the same way. Like pick the floor, it's going to go in basically the same way. Like tile has to be installed one of 3 ways. Like there's not a whole lot of variation. But how we present ourselves and our reputation is pretty much the only difference.
Yep.
So that part is it's a drastic change from our fields. Yeah. So sure. I'm very excited because to hear about how the Red Door situation goes. Are they a massive track builder?
No, they're local, but they build houses. They have a portfolio of different models, and you pick from it. And then
like 5 or 6?
More than that.
More than that.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Are they all about the same size and style?
No,
or do they vary?
Different styles. Yeah, we're going for the farm style, like farmhouse.
Okay.
Yeah.
Single level.
2 levels.
2 levels.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe I don't know what farmhouse style means.
I don't know.
Screw that up.
Maybe I don't know. I mean, it's we call it a farmhouse because it's a wraparound porch.
That's cool.
So I don't know if that makes a farmhouse, but
I feel like I should know, but I don't.
Yeah.
I know ranch is 1 level. Ranch style is 1 level.
Yeah.
That's by that definition, that's what I'm building. Or design or have designed and pricing, I should say. But are you planning, is this like the forever home?
Yeah.
Yeah. So are you doing anything to prep for like potential aging in place, potential handicap possibilities, wide hallways, wide doors, grab handles, anything in that regard?
No, not really.
Okay. Just curious.
To be honest, yeah.
Yeah. I don't criticize you at all. I just, at 32, I already have a genetic like defect from my grandmother to my mom to me. So like I'm very aware that like foot braces, walker, cane, wheelchair, it's the future. It's just how long. So like with my house, I like purposely am designing a 1 level with wider doors and like 5 foot wide hallways for like, it's going to happen. So it's like, let's just prepare now. So like I don't have to I don't want to modify my home later. And like, I will put blocking in between the studs where I'll know when I'm 70, I'll want a handle somewhere so that I can screw that into solid wood. Because like that scrap wood will be there when you're framing. There's so much scrap. Just like don't throw it in the dumpster. Screw it in right there.
Yeah.
So like I won't have to find the stud or get extra drywall anchors or it'll wiggle in 5 years. Like no, just 3-inch deck screws into solid wood, prepped. Especially in the bathroom. Put a couple of blocks behind the tile. I'll just need a special drill bit to get through the tile, and then I'll be right into solid wood. Because like I'm gonna grab bar in the shower is coming for most people, not just me with a genetic nerve ending disease, but like that's coming for most people with age. And like curbless shower, I'm gonna put it in now instead of having to do that later.
Yeah.
So that might be something you could do. Like you don't have to change anything about your home. Just put in curbless showers.
Yeah.
If you like, because that's usually a big thing with elderly / the age in place movement. When it comes to like being an elderly person and needing to bathe, it can be hard to like lift over that curb. And so like just going with a curbless shower now could be a huge benefit. And like I said, putting in blocking.
Yeah.
It's just like one of those little things. Do you have a bedroom on the first floor?
Yep.
Okay, so is it the master?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're a little bit more prepared than you realize.
Yeah, the 2 bedrooms upstairs are gonna be for the kids, and then we should be okay.
What like general age are you guys?
I'm 35.
Okay.
Yeah, my wife is 32.
32. Okay. So kids is in the future.
As soon as we move out to Chapel Hill, new house.
Right, when the house is built, we open in the baby factory.
Straight to the bedroom.
Straight to the bedroom. Yeah. The baseboard looks good. Yeah, I'm not looking at the baseboard. Yeah. When does the bed get delivered? Yes. Okay, so what, if any, are the like baller things you guys are putting in for your forever dream house? You guys doing anything that's like one-off, unique to you?
Well, it's gonna be a farm.
Like an actual farm?
Yeah.
Like you guys are gonna farm?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What kind of tractor are we buying?
So it's gonna be a small farm where I need a walk-behind tractor, not an actual tractor. It's gonna be like under 3 acres.
Okay.
So it's a small-scale diversified farm. So like a vegetable farm, cut flowers, farmer's market. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
And is that like, I assume you're still going to maintain your scientist job?
We'll see, but for now I'm going to stick around, yeah, for sure.
Is the dream that like the farm takes off well enough that you stop the lab coat and just like be a farmer?
Yeah. That's the dream.
That's the dream.
Yeah.
Nice. Very cool. I mean, I don't see any reason why you couldn't. In this part of the world, especially, like as we kind of touched on, I feel like at the beginning of the episode, like it's changing back away from this processed world, and people are starting to realize that we've just been making ourselves sick for 100 years, and going back to these like small personal farms, whether it's for yourself or for the farmer's market, or probably a little bit of both. Yeah, like it's pretty cool. I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I don't grow anything, but I buy only organic stuff.
Yeah.
And like I feel better with that change. And I definitely, like, when I build my house on 11 acres in Hurdle Mills, I am definitely building a farm, because I see Jeremy's farm, who lives next door, and I'm like, man, I'm growing whatever you're not growing, and we're trading. He's like, yes, that's exactly what we're going to do. Yeah. And then I'm thinking about doing one of those like self-sustaining fish farms.
Aquaponic?
Yeah, with like a big 50-gallon barrel, and maybe like 15, 20 fish or whatever, because like you can only eat so much, but like that would be really awesome.
I know, yeah. Do you like tilapia? Because that's the best fish to do in those environments.
To be honest, as I talk about wanting to do this, fish is not my favorite food.
Okay.
But I would attempt to do salmon or tuna, but I doubt that would work out very well. Bass or tilapia would probably be the more realistic, and I would probably just have to get smart on my preparation, man.
Yeah.
Just have to learn how to cook it the best way. But like you said, with French cooking, it's all about starting with the best materials.
There you go.
So if I'm starting with an organic tilapia that I farmed and I knew exactly what it ate, I probably don't need a whole lot. Some fresh lemon juice, grill that freaking thing, maybe some garlic.
Yeah.
Like keep it simple. It's probably the move if it's really good and fresh and not frozen.
To enjoy the ingredients that
Exactly. Yeah. So it's all about where it's coming from and start, it's like, I didn't realize that, everyone does fried calamari to hide the fact that the calamari is frozen.
Oh, wow.
Like, that's why fried calamari is fried calamari. When you go to a tropical island and you order calamari, it's not fried. It's very lightly grilled and just here's piles of lemon wedges. Mm-hmm. And it's so delicious. But like the restaurants, not in the tropical island, calamari is not in Kansas. Like, you got to get that thing frozen on a truck.
Yeah.
It's just the way that it works. And like, it's not going to taste as good when it's been frozen, even though it's still like not bad and it hasn't turned or anything. It's just not going to taste as good. Now it's been deep thawed and it's been thawed and grilled and whatever. They have to fry it.
Yep.
They have to fry it. And like I feel like the majority of people don't have the means to go to a tropical island and try the grilled octopus and know the difference. Mm. But when you have, then you start to put two and two together and be like, oh, so
that's why they fry
that
it.
Oil and breading that's murdering me is also disguising that that's not the best and freshest fish. So this is just bad all the way around.
I love fried calamari, man.
Dude, I love it too. That's not the point. I love fried calamari. Yeah, calamari is delicious. Marinara sauce, it's great. Lemon all day. I even love the weird squiggly ones that aren't the perfect circles. I don't care. I love it all. It's delicious. And I love seeing them scuba diving. I'm a scuba diver. So like you see them and I'll look at my dad and we rub our bellies. Like, oh, can we just spear that thing and just take it up? You can't, but we want to, But it's like, but I tell you the right thing, if I speared that thing scuba diving, I wouldn't fry it.
Nope.
That would go right out of an open flame with some lemon and just boom. It'd be delicious. Yeah. What's your favorite fish to cook?
Flounder.
Flounder. Okay. I've never cooked flounder before.
I went once flounder gigging. I don't know if you know what that is, but
is that where you like go in the hole with like the catfish?
You have a spear, like a trident.
That's cool.
You go on a boat at night with underwater lights, and you see the flounder at the bottom of the floor, like they're on the sand, and you spear them, and then you bring them in the boat.
Whoa, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, I have to try to one up you, but I feel like it's gonna fall short. But I used a Hawaiian sling, which is just like a little trident with a rubber band on the end.
Yeah.
And you just like pull back on the rubber band like a slingshot.
Yep.
And you let the spear go. And I speared a lionfish.
Oh.
And then we kept scuba diving with it on the spear. And 3 minutes later, there was a sleeping nurse shark. And we fed the lionfish. And the nurse shark ate the lionfish in one gulp.
One bite.
And just went back to sleep. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So I actually still am more jealous of spearing a flounder from a boat at night, but I got a spear story at least.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's awesome, dude. Flounder at night.
Yeah.
I've only cooked salmon and tuna, and I've gotten pretty good. The problem is every time it's never burnt, but I'm always overcooking it. Mm-hmm. Just because it's more delicate than chicken and meat, obviously. Yeah. But like when because I love sushi, so I almost want the tuna to basically just be on the inside. I want it to just look like sushi, and I'll cut it and be like, this was on 2 minutes too long, but it's still really good. Yeah. And same with the salmon. It's like crisp that skin on the bottom. Basically, it should be raw in the middle. That's my thoughts, at least.
Yeah, no,
I
agree. Yeah,
like that's it. But sometimes, I've been with another person while I'm cooking, and they're like, no, I don't want it raw in the middle. And I'm like, no, trust me. And they're like, no, I don't want it. I'm like, okay, leave them on, I guess. Like 2 more minutes. I'm like, silently, I'm cutting it should be raw in the middle. It's good stuff. That's good stuff. Do you have an idea of what the new house will cost?
Yeah, shy of 400,000.
Okay, and how many beds, baths, and square feet will we end up with?
So it's gonna be 1 bedroom at the bottom, 2 bedrooms upstairs, 1 bath, 1 half at the bottom, and 1 full bath upstairs.
So 3, 2.5.
Yep, 3, 2.5, and it's 1,800 square feet.
1,800 square feet. Garage?
No.
No garage. Okay. And about 400,000.
Mm-hmm.
And you said you got the land already.
Yep.
Nice. And I'm assuming or hoping you'll have well and septic, not city.
Yeah, it's a well and septic system.
Nice.
Yeah.
That makes, I mean, when you're going to be running a farm, like your water bill, if you were farming with water, it would be like $700 a month. They'd be like, "What are you doing?" We're concerned. You might have a leak. You'd be like, "Yeah, I have a leak. It's called plants." Yeah, so that makes the most sense. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I would really love to have you back on. Either during or after, or if we can only do one after, to just like discuss the process. But yeah. that would be incredible, because that's definitely, I think, I know it's a dream of mine, but I feel like that's a dream of a lot of couples or single people, just people in general, to go from wherever they are to their like forever dream house.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, it is overwhelming of a topic and a process, and a lot of people feel that they are not up to the task, and it's not true. You just need to make sure that you've, crossed your I's and dotted your T's and paid attention, and you also need to have a real, like, looking at yourself in the mirror moment where it's like, how much do I want to be involved? Do I want to be basically the project manager, or do I want to hire somebody I can trust and just pick finishes? Or anywhere in between. Yep. Because there's every level, and there's no wrong way to eat a Reese's, unless it's an American Reese's and not a British Reese's. No, just kidding. But that, it's a real decision. Like my brother, for example, he has a bond broker dealer, and they were renting an office, and then they bought a building. They bought a floor of a building, and they were like, "We're going to build our dream office." And so basically Keats like stopped doing his regular job. His other 3 partners were like, "We're going to do your job for you, and you're going to project manage this build for 3 months," because it needed to be done. Mm-hmm. And he was the most qualified of the 4 partners to do it. And so the other 3 partners like kept trading for him, so he didn't like go broke, because it's all like commission based, and they all have different clients. Like, I trade his bonds, and he trades his bonds, and she trades his bonds, and whatever. So they all picked up each other's slack, because it was like, he's doing that for the company. It was an agreed upon thing. But there could have definitely easily have been like another talk where it was like, okay, nobody's gonna do what Keaton did. My brother's name is Keaton. And we're just going to hire somebody. We're all going to keep trading, and we're going to hire John Doe, and he's going to be our like owner's rep, project manager, intermediary between us and the contractor. But they were just like, that's not what we want to do. We want to just have Keaton be that person, and he'll talk to the contractor directly, and he'll be there every day, and he's going to run this job for 3 months. That's what he became, a project manager for 3 months. He became a GC without a license, and hired a GC with a license. That's exactly, yeah. So, like I said, there's no wrong way to eat the Reese's, but that decision really needs to be thought out and decided before you start jumping down like a subcontractor's throat and you don't have any idea what's going on. Yeah. Have you guys made that decision?
Well, basically through Red Door, they take care of everything. So it's one of those companies that does everything for you up to the permitting and all that stuff.
So you basically are just going to be like picking from countertop samples.
Yep.
Just like, I want these cabinet this color.
Yep.
Like that kind of thing.
Yep.
But you don't give a crap what sub they use, how they do, as long as it's done correctly. Like, you're not going to be there every day arguing with them. You're going to be like, dude, just you have a project manager in charge of that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. And maybe you don't know yet, but like, is the project manager the GC, or is like somebody who just works for Red Door is the GC? And that's the guy pulling the permits, and you don't meet him? Like, do you know?
I don't know. No. We've
Curious.
just talked to a representative, like a
Okay.
rep.
Just like a salesperson.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm just curious. Yeah. It just fascinates me because, like me, I'm a one-man show. So, like, I own the LLC. I have the license. I pull the permits. But then I have the Rolodex of subcontractors.
Okay.
So, like, if I don't need a framer, I don't call the framer. If I need the framer, I call the framer. He does, boom, boom, boom. And then, like, all the big boy trades, as I like to call them, they all have their own licenses. Like electric, plumbing, HVAC. They have to have their own state license, regardless of my license. And when I pull a building permit, there's an electrical permit that is linked to that building permit in the system. So, like, when I submit the building permit, I'm like, yeah, we're doing $5,000 of electrical, $20,000 of HVAC, $10,000 of plumbing, and $100,000 of miscellaneous other stuff. And then, like, I'll tell Raleigh, for example, if it's in Raleigh, on the online permit submittal, I'll be like, and the plumber is John Doe, and the electrician is John, and I'll link them so that when they go in, because they have to, like, be approved, their license has to be approved.
Yep.
And then they basically have to submit their own trade permit under my umbrella permit. So I was just curious, like, they might have an in-house electrician, they might have an in-house HVAC, who knows?
Yeah.
But it's a fascinating, there's, again, definitely no wrong way or right way. I'm just curious. It's all.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. It's one of the more affordable options that we've looked on the market as far as building a house. Like, we're not gonna go full customized house. It's a model home, so they know how to build it.
Yeah. It's one of their, like, 20 models that they offer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And looking at the price range, that's a good. That was a good price point for us. So.
I mean, $400,000 for 1,800 square feet is. I'm not, like, cheap by any means, but, like, we're not including land.
Nope.
In this conversation.
Exactly. Yep.
So I don't think that's an inappropriate. I mean, you couldn't buy it for that new.
No, that's what.
No, you couldn't find a brand new 1,800 square feet, 2.5 on 3 acres.
3 acres
on 3 acres. That's $1 million plus, easy. If you could even find it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that new house we're describing, it's not on 3 acres anywhere in the triangle. Doesn't exist. That land's gone. That land has been bought and turned into 12 half-acre lots or quarter-acre lots or whatever the hell, and they, like, tiny condos have been built. Because that's the most, like, capitalistic way as a builder to see that land and be like, how do I make the most units that make the most money? When in fact that's the worst move for, like, life in general. Yeah, nobody's building a farm in a townhome. So like, if you could even find 3 acres, it would be $100,000+ just for the land. Yeah, and then the house. Yeah, so, like, if that house you're describing on a quarter acre in the Beltline is 1.2 million, maybe more. Realtors listening, please correct me. Like, feel free to call in and be like, you are so wrong. It's this number, but it's at least double what you're going to pay to build it. If you built that house on a quarter acre in the Beltline of Raleigh, it'd be sell for twice that. Yeah. With none of the fancy finishes. Yeah. It's crazy. So I don't think you're getting hosed at all.
Okay.
I think you're doing good. Yeah. Just don't put in Formica countertops. Put in stone.
Okay.
Yeah. Just put in some granite. It'll last forever. Yeah.
Granite.
Yeah, granite will last forever. They built the pyramids out of it. Like, it's been around. It's good. Yeah. But Formica, it's like, you forget to put a trivet down once and you put a hot pan on the Formica, you're gonna have a circle forever.
Yep.
And then to replace the Formica costs more than the granite. Two Formicas.
2 Formicas
is more than one granite.
Yep.
So just do the granite once and just don't ever do it again.
That's right.
Just
okay.
Yeah. That's my main advice. And blocking. Don't forget about the blocking.
For the handles when I grow old.
Yeah, you never know, man. I'm just saying, you might want to handle one day. Your in-laws will get old. Like, and then you can just screw it and be like, hey, I've got the blocking. I just, level sheetrock screws. There's your handle. Done. Problem solved. Or just call me and I'll do it for you. Either way. Well, dude, this was a lot of fun. We went all over the place. And again, I don't really know if I've ever met a real scientist, let alone like a food scientist who's genetically modifying our crops. I feel like the new Jurassic Park movie was basically what you are doing and why this is bad, because they definitely like genetically modified like a grasshopper to eat only a soybean that they sold, and it like created Jurassic Park 5. So I'm coming to you first if like that happens. So just tell me that's not going to happen and we'll be good.
We're good.
Okay. He says we're good, everybody. He says we're good. All right. Well, man, I really appreciate this. And normally I have everybody like shout out their information, but we're going to not do that because we don't want to tell anybody the company you work for. It's nobody's business. So I'll shout out the CRS information, 845-489-6057, corb@wsdg.com. That's CORB. Call or email anytime. Come on the show. Call me for work. Subscribe all over the social media verse and leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts so some strangers can find it. And yeah, Yannick, man, I thank you so much for coming, man. I really appreciate it.
I'll be back.
Yeah, man. I look forward to it. All right, bye, everybody.